Mad began as a humorous magazine created by William Gaines in 1952. Throughout its existence, the style and theme have been changing to adapt to the different tastes of the public, while making satire of American consumption. With this came to have more than 500 editions throughout its publication. In 2010, Mad would have an animated series, which would maintain the same humor that popularized the magazine, being produced by Warner. The series shows several short films and satirical sketches towards actors, TV series, movies, cartoons, and other characters. In this video we will see some of the best stories and curiosities related to Mad, starting at level 1 and ending at level 5. Level 1. Robot Chicken was an animated series that also used American satire, and above all, a humor quite similar to the Mad series. However, the Robot Chicken series was created much earlier than Mad, which is why many believe that the Mad series was created with the purpose of competing with Robot Chicken. Even so, Robot Chicken would be much more successful than Mad. The series Mad was broadcasted by Cartoon Network from 2010 to 2013, however it was not as successful as expected. Many attribute this failure to the fact that other series overshadowed Mad, Adventure Time, Regular Show, and even The Amazing World of Gumball turned out to be pillars of Cartoon Network during those years, while Mad did not have the expected reception from the public. This will come as no surprise to many, but Mad was originally a series for Adult Swim, due to the different topics it touches on, which could be considered sensitive for children. Finally, it was decided to broadcast on Cartoon Network, so many things were discarded or censored in order to adapt the series for a more child audience. As we have just seen, the Mad series had to be adapted for a younger audience. This caused that many children who watched the series did not understand the jokes or the parodies that were tried to be made, and consequently the series had low audience. Another factor that caused the cancellation were the multiple parodies of actors or movies, since many of them made public their dislike for the series and considered it to be a really bad idea. The last factor that could have contributed to the cancellation is that Disney apparently sued Cartoon Network for using their own characters without their permission, as happened with Toy Story. Level 2. Spy vs. Spy is the title of a comic strip published in Mad magazine since 1961. It was based on two spies, one black and one white, trying to eliminate each other. This comic strip would also be adapted to the animated series, being one of the most popular segments of the show. Spy vs. Spy was undoubtedly one of the best of Mad. That's why it managed to have not only one, but two video games, one in 1984 for the Atari 8-bit family, and the other in 2005 for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. Both games are multiplayer, where the objective, as in the comic strip, is to eliminate the enemy. MadTv is a sketch comedy TV show, which even won the Emmy for Best Comedy Show. First televised on October 14, 1995 on Fox, MadTv is considered the successor to In Living Color, the channel's previous sketch comedy. Comparisons with Saturday Night Live were inevitable, given their similar Saturday night formats and schedules. Interestingly, MadTv was Saturday Night Live's biggest competitor, with more than 300 episodes. But that would not stop Fox, as they decided to cancel the show after 14 seasons, giving way to the animated series. Mad magazine was recognized for being one of the few that were free of advertising. Inside the magazine you could find different types of ads that were clear parody, making fun of all kinds of brands. For this reason, it was difficult to create a real ad inside the magazine. Many offers were made to the magazine to advertise a product, with the condition that it was not a parody and was marked to be differentiated from the parodies. William Gaines himself, founder of Mad, said that they could not use Pepsi money to make fun of Coca-Cola or vice versa. That is why there were very few occasions where Mad was used as an advertising medium. One of them was at the beginning of its publication, where the Moxie soda brand would have its logo in several articles of the magazine. Other exceptions were advertisements related to the magazine, such as the Mad Magazine game or the Up the Academy movie. Mad Kids was a revision of the original magazine, which was produced in 2005. As it has been said, Mad was seen by many as an irreverent and tasteless magazine. Many parents at the time would not let their children read the magazine. The idea of Mad Kids was to use articles already used in the magazine, which made reference to children's series or games such as SpongeBob or Mario Brothers. Mad Kids also had small interactive games such as puzzles or posters, all with the intention of obtaining more sales. Despite all the effort put into Mad Kids, the production was cancelled in 2009, only 4 years after its launch. Level 3. Alfred E. Neuman is the mascot of Mad Magazine. He is easily recognizable, even if you never read the magazine. He is considered an icon. The origin of this one goes back to 1984, this advertisement for a play, called The New Boy, who said the following: "What's the good of anything? Nothing." The image of the boy would be reproduced in different comic strips and newspapers of the time. It was in one of those where the creator of the current image, Harvey Kurtzman, would see the potential it would have. This would lead to Neuman's first appearance, years later, in 1954, in issue 21 of Mad. Since Neuman's appearance, the magazine continued to use him as the icon representing the company, appearing on the cover with every issue. Even when Neuman is not the protagonist of the cover, you can always see him in a corner or hidden somewhere. However, there are a few exceptions where Neuman is nowhere to be seen on the cover. Issue number 233, where instead of Neuman, we can see Pac-Man, without any trace of Neuman. Issue number 195, which instead featured the message, "Keep this issue out of the hands of your parents, make them buy their own copy." Finally, there is issue number 166, where although we can't see Neuman, we can see his hand, making a middle finger gesture, declaring Mad as the #1 EC magazine. In late 1958, the editors of Mad magazine decided that Alfred Neuman needed a girlfriend. So their then cover artist created one, Moxie Cowznofski, an adorable companion for Alfred, who looked suspiciously like Alfred, but minus a gap in her teeth. Moxie Cowznofski's first Mad appearance was on the back cover of the January '59 holiday issue, staring back at her beloved Alfred on the front cover. Moxie would appear on the cover of Mad only 2 more times, both in 1959 before she was officially retired. It was never mentioned why she was retired, but perhaps the fact that she resembled Alfred's sister, rather than his girlfriend, proved slightly troubling to the editors. Level 4. This was one of the most explicit comic strips, and according to many, the most disgusting within the magazine. Much of this is due to the small short that was animated, and that later would be broadcasted by Cartoon Network. In this we can see a boy, who is in the bathroom, about to squeeze a pimple, then he does it and ends up causing a disaster. There is no doubt that this short film caused many young people to be afraid of doing the same thing. Alfred Neuman for president was a recurring joke for a long time, being the mascot of Mad. This was used to parody what would happen if Neuman became president of the United States. This topic was quite relevant after Donald Trump compared Pete Buttigieg to Neuman. After many comments about it, Pete responded as follows.
Donald Trump today, in an interview, compared you to the Mad Magazine mascot and said Alfred E. Neuman can never be president. What's your response to him?
So I'll be honest, I had to Google that. I guess it's a generational thing. I didn't get the reference. It's kind of funny, I guess, but he's also the president of the United States, and I'm surprised he's not spending more time trying to salvage this China deal.
The Simpsons is the animated series that has more references to Mad. There are many episodes where we can find them, mostly parodying Neuman. The reason for this is that many of the Simpsons writers during the first seasons grew up with the magazine and were strongly influenced by it. Later, the same magazine would collaborate with the Simpsons in its own magazine. Level 5. Once Upon a Toon was one of the many shorts that were part of the animated series Mad. This became controversial because it was not liked by Cartoon Network, which is curious since the series was broadcast on the same channel. In this short, the classic Cartoon Network characters lose their memory, which is why they no longer appear on the channel, all to make room for other series such as Mad. It is said that Cartoon Network wanted to hide this episode because it could give a bad image to the channel, even though it was a parody. This is self-explanatory. Mad covers have always been quite controversial. As usual with the magazine, they tried to parody social situations, politics, and pop culture in general. What many considered in bad taste was to see your favorite characters in a not-so-nice way. You are looking at some of these examples, but there are too many to show them all. Although everything possible was tried to keep Mad relevant and current for the new generations, either through TV shows, collaborations, or animated series, the truth is that the humor and irreverence that Mad showed during its beginnings made it an undeniable influence. However, that humor was normalized. Nowadays it is not surprising what Mad does. There are hundreds of programs that do the same. That is why after 65 years, Mad would launch its last issue, number 550, where all the main staff of the time would say goodbye to the magazine, to eventually become part of DC Comics, the company that retains the rights of Mad. In 2018, the magazine would be relaunched, starting again with issue number 1, however it would not last more than 10 issues, mainly because there was no new articles, it was basically recycled content from before. Currently you can enjoy most of the issues of Mad, as they are available online.